ॐ अन्तर्ज्योतिः बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यक्ज्योतिः परात्परा ज्योतिरेव ज्योतिः स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः शिवोऽस्म्यहम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Hari Om to all the wonderful little Atma Jyotis listening to this story. Welcome to Katha Jyoti. So today we are going to listen to some anecdotes from Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi's life. Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi was a wonderful enlightened master who lived in South India in a place called Tiruvannamalai. So his teachings on self-inquiry are famous worldwide, and I think millions flock to Sri Ramanashramam, which is located in Tiruvannamalai. So there is a famous quote by Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. He says, "You cannot, a deer that is caught in the jaws of a tiger cannot escape." So in the same way, when the glance of grace of a Sadguru falls on a seeker, that seeker cannot escape from the grace of the Sadguru till he is enlightened. So today we are going to look at some anecdotes related to the grace of Sri Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi. So in Ramanashram, the hall where everybody sat for the darshan of Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi was separated from the dining hall by a courtyard. So one day everybody hears the lunch bell ringing, and they all get up and walk out of the darshan hall and they go into the dining hall. They're all seated. They're waiting for Bhagwan to come into the dining hall. Nobody wants to start eating till Bhagwan comes and he begins. 5 minutes are over, 10 minutes are over. Bhagwan is not to be seen. So one of the attendants goes outside into the courtyard to see if Bhagwan needs any help. Why hasn't he come into the dining hall? And there they see Bhagwan is standing and with his hands cupped like this, a shepherd who has come down from the hills. He is pouring a very watery porridge into the hands of Bhagwan from a pot, and Bhagwan is drinking the porridge like this from his hands. So the attendant who comes, he feels very indignant. He says, "Bhagwan, we have all been waiting there inside the dining hall. We are so hungry. We are waiting for you. And here you are feasting on some porridge, leaving all of us there. So Bhagwan leisurely continues to drink, and then he wipes his mouth and he looks up at the attendant and he says, yes, now all of you are there. But when I first came to Tiruvannamalai, who took care of me other than shepherds like him? Today he came, he remembered me, and he came with this wonderful porridge that I used to love. And he came to give it to me. So why should I refuse him? The shepherd who had come with the porridge was so delighted, he was ecstatic. He said, I was standing there a little far away from Bhagwan. I didn't want to ask him whether he will drink my humble offering or not. At that time, Bhagwan was wandering around the hills and he was so free and informal with us. We never felt any distance. But now he is surrounded by so many devotees. He is revered as a great guru. So I was just standing there hesitantly. I didn't even dare to address Bhagwan. But Bhagwan himself called me and he said, have you brought some porridge for me? And then I dared to offer the porridge, and I am honored because Bhagwan drank it. So this is what the shepherd narrates. At no time in his life did Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi ever differentiate between people. For him, the shepherd was not somebody to be ignored, and even kings came to him, even princes came to him. The President of India visited him, but he didn't think any preferential treatment should be given to a great person who is well known, who is famous, who has a high position. Neither did he think that a shepherd should be ill-treated. He saw everybody equally, and his grace was there for all. This, what I'm going to narrate now, is one of my favorite incidents from Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi's life. So Ramana Maharshi one day was trying to prevent a dog from catching a squirrel. He put his walking stick in the way of the dog harming the squirrel. And he fell down and he broke his toe. His toe was fractured. So it was difficult for him to walk. At that time, he was already quite aged. He had lived in a cave called Skandashram, somewhere at the top of Arunachala Hill. But it was 20 years since he had gone up the hill. He had so much of arthritis in his hips and his back and his neck. He needed a stick to walk. So he had not gone up the hill for about 2 decades. He had been living in the ashram that had been built at the base of the hill. So that day, it was around 12 noon, very, very hot. Tiruvannamalai is extremely hot, and at 12 noon, perhaps it is one of the hottest times of the day. So his toe is fractured, he is limping, and he sees some devotees coming down from the hill, a couple of devotees, and he asks them, where had you gone? And the devotees say, Bhagwan, we had gone up to Skandashram, we are just coming down. And Bhagwan said, so you went up to Skandashram without me? Bhagwan, how can you come? Your toe is fractured, remember? Bhagwan said, yes, nowadays I am not able to go up to Skandashram. And then he starts climbing the hill slowly. The devotees are alarmed. Bhagwan, where are you going? Just a little way up the hill, says Bhagwan. Bhagwan, you should take care. You should not be doing this. Your toe has to mend. Bhagwan says, it's all right. Just a little way up. And so with two attendants going along with him, Bhagwan starts climbing up the hill. Repeatedly they request him, that's enough, Bhagwan, let's go down. Bhagwan says, just a little bit longer, just a little way up the hill. And he keeps climbing up. The last part of the climb, in fact, Bhagwan is actually crawling up the hill. His toe is hurting so badly, he can't put any weight on it. He literally crawls up the hill, and upon reaching Skandashram, he is exhausted. He sits. There is a mason working there on a wall. He is building a brick wall. He is repairing parts of the Skandashram walls which are where there are cracks. So he is repairing everything there, and he is building a new wall. He runs and gets some water for Bhagwan, and Ramana Maharshi drinks that water, and attendants fan him. After a few minutes, he recovers. And then the mason says, Bhagwan, why did you climb in this hot sun? It must have taken you so many hours. Why did you climb up like this, Bhagwan? Bhagwan looks at the attendant and he says, Arre, see this mason? Was it not he who made me climb up all this way? The mason is horrified. Now, mason is one who builds walls. So he says, Bhagwan, what are you saying? When did I ask you to climb up? So Bhagwan says, did you not come down a few days ago to the ashram? Mason said, yes, Bhagwan, I had come. Why did you come? Bhagwan, you were inaugurating the wonderful temple which is built over the samadhi of your mother. So I had come for that inauguration ceremony. Yes. And then what did you think? Bhagwan, I saw you touching all the carved pillars in the temple. And I thought, all these sculptors have done wonderful work. So Bhagwan is there to appreciate that work, to honor all those sculptors. But Bhagwan will never see my work. I am a humble mason. I cannot carve like this. I am a humble mason working on top of the hill in Skandashram, just repairing cracks, building a wall. Of what significance is all this to Bhagwan? Didn't you think like this? Yes, Bhagwan, I did think like this. So that is why I am here. You called me. Your devotion was so pure. Your prayer that Bhagwan should come and see the work that you are doing in Skandashram, that was so full of ardor that it pulled me up to come and see the work that you are doing. Come, let us see. So with difficulty, Bhagwan gets up from there. He goes all around. He sees the repairs that the mason has done. And he compliments him. Before, with great difficulty, going back to the ashram at the bottom of the hill. So such is the grace of a Sadguru. It flows to everybody. It flows to the smallest of small and the largest of the large. So I want to share one more anecdote about grace. It's easy for somebody to be benevolent when everybody around them is full of devotion, they're saying nice things, they're doing seva, then it is easy for us also to be loving to them, to be nice to them, right? But what happens if somebody is antagonistic? What happens if somebody goes out of the way to make life hard for us? Then is it still easy for us to be loving, to be kind? So that is where a Sadguru, an enlightened master, is different. So when I think in 1914, a devotee called Perumal Swami, so he came to have Bhagwan's darshan when Bhagwan was staying in a cave on top of the hill, which was called Virupaksha cave. So Perumal Swami he used to do a lot of sadhana. He had many influential friends, many wealthy friends. But when he came and had Bhagwan's darshan, he decided, I will become Bhagwan's disciple. And he would beg in the streets, bring up the food, share it with Bhagwan. Along with a few more devotees, he was living with Bhagwan. Now, through a few incidents, first let us understand the character of Perumal Swami. Okay, he had very, very good leadership qualities. He was like an ideal manager for the ashram. But at the same time, he was a very authoritarian person. Authoritarian means he would order people around. And when he gave an order, he would expect everybody to obey it 100%. Whether it is a logical order or not, whether it is fair or not. So just a couple of incidents to bring out some of these qualities of Perumal Swami. Then we will go to the last major incident of today's storytelling session. So Perumal Swami is living in Virupaksha cave with Bhagwan. And he and another attendant called Palani Swami, that particular day they wanted to go and bring some groceries from the town below. They had to climb down the hill. So they left Ramana Maharshi alone in the cave and they were just climbing down the steps. A few tribal Vairagis, very fierce, very aggressive, with spears and swords in their hands, a large group of them, they came to Virupaksha cave. Ramana Maharshi is inside alone, sitting quietly. And these Vairagis, they said, we have come from Siddhar forest, our Podigai forest. In the Podigai forest, our Guru is there, Podigai Siddhar. So he has instructed us, you go to Virupaksha cave, you will find a very ripe soul there. Whether he is willing to come or not, by force if necessary, you bring him here. I have to initiate him. They tell Bhagwan, come on, get up, let us go. Bhagwan doesn't talk. He's just sitting very quietly. Some shepherd boys, they listened to this, they ran down and brought up Perumal Swami and Palani Swami. Perumal Swami saw what was happening at a glance. He could gauge the situation. So he said, he told the shepherd boys and he told the Bairagis, you know, you are all Siddhars from Podigai, isn't it? Yesterday night, Podigai Siddhar, your guru, he had come in my dream. And he said, today I will send some people from my tribe to you. You fry them in a big cauldron of hot oil. Fry them nicely and send them back to me. And he told the shepherd boys, hey, go and bring firewood. I'm going to start putting this big cauldron on the fire. I'll pour oil into it and I'll fry all these people. The minute those tribal siddhars, they heard about it, those Vairagis, they ran away from that place. But they could have harmed Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. They were very fierce. So in this way, Perumal Swami many times protected Bhagwan from very bad things happening to him. At the same time, he was also very authoritarian. One day, Bhagwan's mother, she decided to come and live with Bhagwan. For the last 8 years of her life, she lived with Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. So Alagammal, his mother, when she came to Skandashram at that time, with just 1 or 2 saris in one small bundle, she came into the ashram. Perumal Swami didn't like this. So he said, go away. There's no place here for women. This is the ashram of Ramana Maharshi. You cannot stay here. So Alagammal, very sadly, she bundled up those saris again and started walking out. And Ramana Maharshi immediately got up and he said, come mother, give me that bundle. We will go somewhere else where you are not ordered to leave the ashram. Immediately, Perumal Swami said, I am very sorry, please come back. And he fell at Bhagwan's feet and brought him back. So this is all showing us different facets of Perumal Swami. Niranjanananda Swami, if you go to Ramanashramam, you will also see his samadhi there. He was the younger brother of Bhagwan. When he came to Ramanashram, he became the manager. So till he came, Perumal Swami was the manager of Ramanashram. But when Niranjanananda Swami came, he took over the duties of Perumal Swami. Because of the authoritarian attitude of Perumal Swami, a lot of problems had been created in the ashram. So Chinna Swami, the younger Swami, is what Swami Niranjanananda was called affectionately by all the people in the ashram. He took over he became the manager. Now Perumal Swami didn't like this. So he went to court and he put a case against Ramana Maharshi, saying, I was the manager there, but I was driven out. And then he acquired another property. He built a statue of Ramana Maharshi. He called himself the secretary and he said, this is the actual Ramanashram. That over there, don't go there. This is the actual Ramanashram. And a lot of letters would come to Ramana Maharshi. Every day, many people would write about different problems, ask for his grace. They would pray for his intervention in the things that were happening in their lives. They would ask him for advice on sadhana. So hundreds of letters would come to Ramanashram every day. The post office was very busy. And they would go and collect the mail from the post office. So every single day, there is a fight between Niranjanananda Swami and Perumal Swami at the post office. finally Bhagavan said, allow Perumal Swami to take whatever letters he wants. After he has taken it away, you bring the rest. Don't worry, whoever has written, my grace will anyway go to them. Don't worry about it. And he sent another devotee to talk to Perumal Swami, to tell him. And the devotee came and said, Bhagavan has sent word to you. He says, remember to do your sadhana well. Don't give up self-enquiry. But Perumal Swami continues the case in the court. So a lot of trouble comes to the ashram because of the case going on for no reason. It is happening. And finally, Perumal Swami loses the case after some years. And all this time, he has been creating as much trouble for the ashram as he can. He still regards Ramana Maharshi as his guru, but he wants to be the manager there. So when he loses the case in court, it is like a turning point for him. Suddenly he understands the enormity of his error. And he says, I have committed a great sin. What to do? And he sends word with a devotee. The devotee comes to Bhagavan and he says, Bhagavan, Perumal Swami wants to come here to the ashram and he wants to apologize to you. So everybody in the ashram is against it. Bhagavan, don't allow him to come. How much trouble he has created for us. How much we have gone up to court, come back. How much he has badmouthed you and the ashram. No, Bhagavan, don't allow him to come. He has no place here. How dare he even ask? But Bhagavan, with his compassionate gaze and his loving smile, he says, yes, he has created trouble for us with the court case and so on. But think of the old days, earlier days. He has done a lot of seva for me. He has protected me from bad things happening so many times. Let him come. So much against the wishes of all the other devotees, because Bhagavan said he can come, Perumal Swami comes. He comes to the ashram, he falls at the feet of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. And he says, Bhagavan, I am so sorry. The scriptures say that the greatest sin that anybody can commit is Guru Droha. I have sinned against you. I have created so many problems for you and for all the devotees here. Please forgive me, Bhagavan. It is only now that I am understanding the enormity of my mistake. Surely I will go to hell for this. Perumal Swami is weeping. Then Bhagavan looks at Perumal Swami and he says, Perumal Swami, if you go to hell, then will I also not be there with you? Look at that. Look at that love. Look at that compassion, that grace. He is saying, if you go to hell because I am your Guru, will I let you go? Will I also not come with you? If you look at it, in one sense it is like that. In another sense, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi is established in the self which is everywhere all the time. There is no place where the self is not there. So in another sense, if you look at it, Bhagavan is reminding Perumal Swami, aren't you the self which is all encompassing? And I am also the same self. So wherever you are, am I also not there? So Perumal Swami is so overwhelmed by the compassion of Bhagavan. He says, whatever remaining years I have, Bhagavan, I will devote myself to self-inquiry. So he goes to a small cave somewhere near Ramanashram and he starts doing intense self-inquiry. Every single day, twice, 2 meals go to him from the ashram. Bhagavan says, he should not worry for food. Let him engage himself in sadhana. We will send food to him. So even after Bhagavan's Mahasamadhi, food continues to go to Perumal Swami in the cave. And it is said that through intense self-inquiry, Perumal Swami also became established in the self. So as Bhagavan says, just like a deer which is caught in the jaws of a tiger, it cannot escape. In the same way, a seeker who is caught in the glance of grace of the Sadguru cannot escape till the ego is killed and till he is established in the self. So I hope you like these stories and I loved sharing them with you. Let us end it with a prayer. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Satyadarshanam. Nano Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you, everyone.